Ever since Samsung introduced the Galaxy Tab S2 back in 2015, people were clamoring for an update to that premium level Android device from Samsung. Well, they finally did it. Hi, my name's Andrew, and this is the review of the Galaxy Tab S3. It's the all-new premium tablet from Samsung, and also a very expensive tablet. Let's find out if it's worth your money.
Not to be outdone by Apple, Samsung recently released the Samsung Tab S3, a high-end premium tablet to compete with the likes of the iPad Pro. Let's see if they have a winner on their hands. Powering this bad boy is a Snapdragon 820 with 4 GB of RAM and 32 GB of onboard storage. Now it is expandable up to 256 GB via the microSD card expansion slot. But the star of this show has to be its 9.7-inch AMOLED display. It has a resolution of 2048 by 1536. That's 264 pixels per inch, and it gets really bright at 465 nits. And it supports HDR content, or high dynamic range content. Although there's not a lot out there right now, it's good to know that this is future-proofed. Packaging is premium at this $599 price point, and in the package you get your S Pen. We'll talk more about that later in this review. You get your quick start guide, and you get your USB Type-C cable that'll charge the device. Always good to see USB Type-C. And of course you get your quick charge adapter. Now, as far as ports are concerned, here's what you get. On the bottom, you get one of your 4 quad speakers. You get your USB Type-C, that's where you'll charge the device. And you have a 3.5mm headphone jack. It worked very well with no interference. And of course you get your second of your 4 quad speakers. On the top of the device you get 2 more speakers. We'll talk more about the quad speakers later in this review. Now, in addition to the 32 GB of onboard storage, there is a microSD card slot. That's where you can expand it up to 256 GB via the microSD card. And of course, you get your volume rocker up and down along with the power button. Unfortunately, there's nowhere to store the pen on the tablet itself, but they do give you a pen loop that you can stick onto the keyboard case. It worked pretty well. Now, speaking of the keyboard case, it's $129. It's made of plastic, and it has about 1.1 millimeters of key travel. They are island-style, chiclet-style keys, and for the most part it worked well, although I felt it was a bit cramped. Now, there is no backlight, and it uses about 65 grams of actuation. That's the amount of force needed for a key press. And there's only one single position with this keyboard case. Being a big fan of the Galaxy Note line, I was happy to see the inclusion of the S Pen. At 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity, it worked really well. It's larger than the S Pens we've seen in the past, and the single button on the pen will activate the Air command, which allows you to create a note, use Smart Select for a screenshot, use the Translate feature, and shortcuts to your favorite apps. I think digital artists and note takers will certainly appreciate the fact that the S Pen is included in the $599 price point, unlike the Apple Pencil that you have to buy as a separate accessory for the iPad Pro. And just like the iPad Pro, the S3 sports quad speakers that are powered by AKG. Let's hear them in action.
My name's Andrew, and this is the review of the Chewy Laptop 14. Let's find out if it's worth your money. If you watch my channel, you know I've reviewed my share of Cherry Trail Atom devices, and you know that performance is certainly not its strong suit, needing something with more power and more stepped up.
Although not quite as powerful as the iPad Pro speakers, these are very good quad speakers that are powerful, that has bass, and the mids are pretty good. I have to say, Samsung did a very nice job with these quad speakers. There's a 13 megapixel shooter on the back, and it did okay, although tablets in general are not great for taking pictures or video. But here is a sample of the 4K video in action. It seems to me there's no image stabilization, and it didn't do great in low light situations, but then again, most tablets or even premium tablets don't have great cameras, so you really can't judge it at the high-end smartphone level. Now there's a 5 megapixel shooter on the front. Let's see it in action. So this is the camera in landscape mode, front-facing camera. It shoots 1080p, and not the greatest in low light situations. Now, I am outside, so I'm curious to see how it will do in low light situations. It's about 4 or 5 o'clock, and the sun is starting to go down a little bit, and you can see the quality is what it is. Now, on tablet, traditionally, even on higher end tablets, the cameras are not going to be as good as, say, as you'd find on some more of the high end smartphones. But nonetheless, this certainly will get the job done if you need to do Skype or any kind of video conferencing. Now, this being a premium tablet, I had high expectations for performance. On the Geekbench 4, it did a 3522 on the multi-core score. Its built-in graphics did 6,280. And on the Antutu benchmark, it did a very healthy 91,626. On the Slingshot Extreme test, it did 2569. And on the regular Slingshot test, it did a 3378. On the iStorm Unlimited test, it did 19,268, and on the iStorm Extreme test, it did 12,517. Overall, these are very good scores. This is what you'd expect from a premium high-end tablet that sports a Snapdragon 820. Performance-wise, in real-world usage, this tablet is good for gaming, so you could do productivity, and certainly you can watch movies and all kinds of media consumption. This being a premium tablet, I was hoping to get good battery life, especially since the iPad Pro 9.7 gets almost 11 hours. Here, it didn't do quite as well. It only got about 7.5 hours. This is certainly not a terrible figure, but it's not outstanding, and it certainly could have done better, especially since its competition, the iPad Pro, did so much better. So, at the end of the day, can I recommend the Samsung Tab S3? Is it worth your hard-earned money? And the answer is, it depends. If you're willing to pay the high price tag of $599, then perhaps it is, because it has that beautiful AMOLED display, it's got good performance, and of course it has the S Pen support. Here's what I like about the device. I like its premium design and build. I like the fact that that all-glass back really does look nice, although it is a big fingerprint magnet. And I like its bright, vivid display. I like the fact that that display supports HDR, or high dynamic range content, although there's not that much content out there right now, but it will be coming soon. And I like the fact that the S Pen is included in the box. And speaking of the S Pen, it worked really well. And as far as performance was concerned, it's exactly what we'd expect from a high-end premium tablet. And I like the fact that its quad speakers deliver true stereo audio. Really good job on the speakers. And I like the fact that the key travel on the keyboard case was pretty good at 1.1 millimeters. And as with any device, there are going to be things that need improvement. Here's what I don't like about the Galaxy Tab S3. I felt that the keyboard case is a bit cramped and it wasn't so comfortable to type on. There's no place to hold the S Pen on the tablet itself. And I wasn't crazy about its lackluster battery life. I certainly expected more, especially when you look at the iPad Pro, its chief competitor. And there are a few tablet-optimized apps. That's one problem that Samsung needs to combat. And I think that's an indictment of Google tablets in general, or Android tablets in general. And I thought the keyboard was an expensive add-on at $129. And speaking of expensive, this is a very expensive proposition at $599 plus the $129 keyboard. It really does rise to the level of a laptop territory. Although the iPad Pro comes in at even more money, it's considering the fact that you don't get the pen included and you also have to buy the keyboard as well as a separate accessory. But with those few negatives aside, I have to say this is a very premium tablet to compete with the likes of the iPad Pro. I love its gorgeous AMOLED display, I like its performance, and I love the fact that it has the S Pen. That's why I'm going to give it 81%, making this a very good option in the premium tablet category. And if price is not your chief concern, then this definitely will be worth your money.
So what do you think about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S3? Do you think it's a worthy upgrade over its predecessor, the S2? I know it has that high resolution AMOLED display that has those beautiful punchy colors, those deep inky blacks that everybody loves. But it has a hefty price tag to go along with it. What do you think about its price? Are you considering getting one? Have you picked one up? And if so, how has it been working out for you since it's just been released? I'm curious to know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I think it's a very expensive premium Android tablet trying to compete with the likes of the iPad Pro line. And for the most part, I think it succeeds, although there are some issues, obviously, with the fact that there aren't many tablet optimized Android apps, and that's a big problem in my opinion. But overall, I think it's a great device in terms of the display, the performance, everything you'd want, and the fact that it has the S Pen support is even better. But again, that hefty price tag may keep some of you away. But I'm curious to know what you think. Again, leave a comment in that comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and on Twitter and our website, AMDtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.